Have you ever wondered about the economic impact of the migrant crisis on a city like Denver? Denver, the mile-high city, known for its vibrant art scene and fantastic outdoor adventures, is currently grappling with a situation that's causing a significant financial strain. The city is facing a migrant crisis, and it's having a profound impact on its economy and services. Denver's budget is being stretched thin as it tries to accommodate the influx of migrants. Essential services that residents rely on daily are feeling the pinch. We're talking about services like the Department of Motor Vehicles, parks and recreation, and even shelters. These institutions are suffering from budget cuts, and the effects are starting to show. But let's put this into perspective. Denver, a city with a population of 700,000, has taken in over 40,000 migrants. That's a staggering number when you consider the per capita count. Compared to larger cities like New York City and Chicago, Denver is shouldering a heavy burden. Here's another figure for you. Denver has allocated more than $100 million, with estimates potentially reaching up to $180 million, to provide housing, medical care, and education for asylum seekers. This amounts to a whopping 15 to 20% of the city's annual budget. Now, city officials are having to make some hard calls. They're warning new migrants to leave, citing a lack of resources. They're urging them to go to other cities like New York or Chicago. Meanwhile, counties near Denver like Douglas County, Lakewood, and Aurora are taking a stand. They've passed bans on unscheduled stops of migrant buses, signaling a resistance to becoming sanctuary cities like Denver. As the strain on Denver's budget grows, city officials are forced to make tough decisions. But remember, the impacts of these decisions are not just numbers on a page. They're real-world effects felt by the residents of Denver and the migrants seeking a better life. These are the stories of our cities, our communities, and our people. So, what does the fiscal reality of this crisis look like for Denver? Well, let's delve into the nitty-gritty of the numbers. Denver, a city with a population of 700,000, has been a haven for over 40,000 migrants. This influx of people might seem like a boon for the economy, but it's actually creating a significant financial strain on the city's resources. To accommodate this large number of newcomers, the city has had to dig deep into its coffers. We're talking about more than a whopping $100 million, solely allocated for providing housing, medical care, and education to asylum seekers. Now, just to put this into perspective, this figure represents a staggering 15 to 20% of Denver's annual budget. Imagine having to reroute such a large chunk of your budget, initially meant for public services and infrastructure, towards dealing with an unforeseen crisis. It's like having to dip into your savings to fix a leaky roof, while your monthly bills continue to pile up. That's the predicament Denver finds itself in right now. This situation has forced the city to make some tough decisions. Essential services like the Department of Motor Vehicles, parks and recreation, and even shelters have had to face budget cuts. The logic is simple, yet heartbreaking. If there isn't enough money to go around, something's gotta give. In a desperate bid to manage the situation, city officials are warning new migrants to leave, citing a lack of resources. They're urging them to go to other cities like New York or Chicago, which might be better equipped to handle the influx. Meanwhile, neighboring counties like Douglas County, Lakewood, and Aurora are taking a stand. They've passed bans on unscheduled stops of migrant buses, signaling a resistance to becoming sanctuary cities like Denver. At the end of the day, the mounting costs of the migrant crisis are leaving city officials with little choice but to reevaluate their strategies. Faced with these challenges, what has Denver decided to do? The city's response has been to start deporting migrants, a decision driven by the sheer weight of the financial and logistical burden. Denver's officials are now warning new migrants to leave, citing a critical lack of resources. They're urging migrants to consider other cities like New York or Chicago, where the infrastructure may be better equipped to handle the influx. But it's not just Denver making tough calls. Counties close to Denver, including Douglas County, Lakewood, and Aurora, are also showing signs of resistance. They've passed bans on unscheduled stops of migrant buses, signaling a reluctance to follow Denver's path and become sanctuary cities. These decisions reflect the strain and complexity of the migrant crisis. They underscore the challenges faced by cities and counties, large and small, across the United States. As Denver grapples with the migrant crisis, the city's decision speaks volumes about the complexity of this issue.